I had to ask Paul McCartney to come. Paul hadn't played since John died. And he comes out on stage and he begins, when I find myself in times of trouble, bang, mic goes down. And then I'm at the side of the stage with Bowie and Pete Townsend and Alison Moyet, as you are. And suddenly the crowd starts singing it. So Pete says, we've got to go out and help him. So we just go out on stage and we start singing it. And then the mics come back on. That actually happened.
Isn't it convenient that it's the Rats 50th and Live Aid's 40th?
It's not convenient because seriously, it's only because we're 50 and it's 40 that I twigged that we were 10 years doing this.
It is convenient.
Well, yeah, but the reason I could call everyone, I could call George Michael, I could call Bono, I could call Sting, was they were essentially contemporaries, except for the new lot like Duran and Spandau and that. And it's this time I've realised that it happened 10 years into what we were doing. And that actually didn't work for the band because we had a new album out and I saw the BBC News, I saw what was happening in Ethiopia, and I couldn't go on Terry Wogan. I couldn't go on and say, hey, Terry and the Rats have got a new album. I could only go, we have to do this thing and we're going to do it and I need you to buy this record. I've seen the outtakes. We've just put together for the first time ever all the outtakes from film outtakes from recording of Do They Know It's Christmas, and it's fantastic. George Michael is talking to Paulie Yates, my missus, and she says, are you enjoying it? He goes, yeah, sort of. He says, I get nervous around pop stars. He says, but I thought I was going to have my fourth number one. And she said, what are you talking about? He said, well, I've got my own Christmas song. And she goes, what's it called? He goes, it's called Last Christmas, but this will probably beat it. She said, sing me a bit. And he goes, Last Christmas. He said, but that's it. I'm not going to sing anymore. He sings a bit of it. And it's, you
got
realise,
to number two, didn't it?
And I think they're...
Double A side with Everything She Wants.
Yeah, exactly. So, 50 years on, 40 years on, it's kind of wrapping up a life in music for me. That's the truth.
Really? Wrapping it up?
Yeah, because everyone rushes out to buy Boomtown Rats records. Because you play them so much, Evans,
We play them when we can. Look, we do our
classic
little bits.
band, Well, you can buy the Greatest Hits compilation. I think there's 3 tracks on it,
So we got. I hosted the Brits when you guys won the Lifetime Achievement Award, and you played. That was amazing. Wasn't it?
It was amazing.
That was a night and a half.
And then you banned us from Carfest.
I didn't ban you from Carfest. No. I didn't ban you. I banned Bobby Boomtown for being the most potty-mouthed in front of a load of 12-year-olds.
Have you listened to Taylor Swift?
It's a family festival.
Have you listened to Taylor Swift's new records?
Yeah, which is why she's also banned from Carfest.
I knew there was a reason she didn't pitch up this year.
Of course. No, but you're welcome next year. But you can't swear that much in front of the fams. You can't. You just can't. Because we get so much grief about it.
Yeah, listen, they practically gagged me before coming in here. And of course, there's no swearing at all by Craig and Just for One Day.
Absolutely
you never do it.
No,
what is it like? Come on, Craig, what is it like?
Well, do you know what? It's genuine. It's brilliant. And it's a genuine honour. I'm not just saying that. It really is an honour to play this brilliant man. And the audience love it. And once you sort of get that sort of thing between the two of you, where they know you're not really him and you know you're not really him, but... they're on it and they're with you for the whole thing.
But when I go to rehearsal and I met him for the first time, he was sort of really embarrassed and I was embarrassed. So I sort of sat in the corner. I go, no.
Oh, no.
Like that, They go,
can you imagine?
Direct.
By the way, Craig just folded his arms. I don't blame you, mate. I had this for 3 years at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. Yeah. Oh, Bob's in on. Really? Why?
But once you got past that, having Bob in the room was fantastic.
I'm still in front of that.
Hold on, you didn't ask what it was like for me. This guy...
I don't care what it's like for you.
When I'd talk, he'd be just staring at me like this. I'd see his mouth moving like this, like that. I'd be going, what's he doing, And he'd be just looking, like staring at me with the attitude. Well,
Craig, how many songs do you sing?
I sing a few. I sing a Rat song. I sing Rat Trap. I sing Don't Like Mondays, and then I sing obviously Do They Know It's Christmas. Yeah. A bit of I'm Still Standing. Wow. With Margaret Thatcher. Yeah. Obvs.
I'm still standing with Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah,
Bob Geldof and Margaret Thatcher.
Awesome. So Live Aid's in the second half. Yeah. And we built to... And is that where it ends? No spoilers here, because we know how it ends. Does it end with Live Aid?
Yeah. I guess to break it down, the first act would be the Band Aid single.
It's pretty good as a single, but this is going to be off the chain, isn't it?
The drama, and it's all through the drama, it's just precede into a dramatic theatrical show. The drama is... all kind of the mistakes that have been forgotten. Like, I had to ask Paul McCartney to come. Yeah. Paul hadn't played since John died. People forget that. And it was Linda, his wife, and Stella, his daughter, said, you have to do this. I wrote to Paul. I found the original letter because the archives of Band Aid go into the National Library of Ireland. And I'd found it and I was sending it off to them. And he agreed to do it, he was scared stiff. And on the drive up to Wembley from their house in Rye, I think, he was listening to the show. And he got more and more scared.
On the day?
On the day.
So you had it live on the radio?
Well, yeah, it was live. It was live across all formats.
No, I know. I'm just trying to picture Paul McCartney listening to the radio on the way to the gig.
He's driving up and he's listening to it. And it was Linda's. He was saying, I don't think I can do this. It's been 6 years since I've played anything. And Linda said, you've got to do it. So he came. And, he's a Beatle. And there is a hierarchy in rock and roll, seriously, across all of them. I don't care who you're talking to, all the bands, he's a Beatle, respect. And justifiably so. And Paul came and said, all right, whack, yeah, great, hey, Bob, and all this stuff, And so he goes on stage to play, I said, just one song. It's the benediction, isn't it?
Yeah.
The blessing. And he came on stage to do Let It Be.
Yeah.
And everyone, no one kind of believed he was there, and everyone gathered round to watch this great song, this great artist. And he comes out on stage and he begins, when I find myself in times of trouble, bang, mic goes down. And he doesn't quite realise it at first. And then I'm at the side of the stage with Bowie and Pete Townsend and Alison Moyet, as you are. And suddenly the crowd starts singing it. And if you listen to the actual real soundtrack of Live Aid and you bring up the faders on the crowd sing it for Paul. And he just turns around, smiles at the crowd. And David says, Pete says, we got to go out and help him. So we just go out on stage and we start singing it. And then the mics come back on. That actually happened.
That's divine intervention.
And that's the end. And it's like when it happens at the end of the show, everyone just goes nuts, So it's just chock-a-block of the greatest hits of our time.
It was the best. I remember. I'll never forget it. It's it was like a day like no other. And I was born in the 60s, but I wasn't around in the 60s. If you could go back anywhere in a time machine, I would go back to the 60s as a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old. But I was there for Live Aid, and I just feel sorry for anybody who wasn't, because they weren't born or they died like 100 years ago, because it was an unbelievably it was such a, we were all so humble, we were all so moved, and it was a great day to be a member of the human race. The world stood still.
It did. Plus it worked. What we asked for was delivered by everyone in the world. We asked them for some cash to help people they would never meet, and those people would never know they were being helped. And just a torrent of sympathy. Virgin Radio.